Everything okay? Okay. Do I got a red light? Red? Okay. you. I think it's not just all of it. Did you go down? Did you crash? Oh, okay. Yeah. You'll get better. Crescent Mountain is a whole nother level beyond this. Yeah. Whew. That got me a hair winded. by these adventures. Ice and snow for a little bit of maybe 50, 60 feet. That's it. adjust it out. You know how to adjust your clutch, right? Okay. Don't get it to where it doesn't disengage, but you should only have about an 1/8 inch play. I should start feeling it. No, you're pulling in on it. Right here. That's how much slop I got in my cable. Then I engage. It looks to me like you got it completely tight. If it's still engaged and you're having trouble with it, if it's staying engaged while it's pulled in, then it needs adjustment in the part that's further down here, or your springs or something are heading south. You know, it might be time to recondition the clutch. Yeah. You should be able to go and, well, I used to shoot for being able to start in gear. Pull it in, be able to start it. Almost every bike these days, they can't do it. So you're always hunting for neutral. You'll see them even doing it in racing. The pro guys, they fall down, stall the bikes, and they're kicking and kicking and kicking. I know right away as a TV viewer. Put it in neutral, and then you'll start your bike. Hurry up. You know, and then your favorite rider does it. By that time, he's lost 8 places.
Well, it's definitely a lot harder on this track. A lot more bouncing around, a lot more gear. Whoa.
Yeah.
You're going this way. Yeah. I'm going that way.
This is trail ride. The lake bed is for like testing your bike. You get up in the advanced areas I go sometimes, it'll be like this stuff. Deep for miles. And you're wallowing around in that. That's a challenge. But the hard packed trails like this place has, few and far between. That's why we enjoy riding them, because there's not very many of them. So you don't want to get spoiled by them, but what's fun is the tight, you know, the next thing you gotta do, you gotta throw the bike. The next thing you gotta do, you gotta throw the bike. That's fun. That's entertainment. From here on out, check your fuel level, by the way. From here on out, it's like this stuff. It's fire trail. Pretty easy. Okay, you're still pretty full. You're not even close to half done. You may make it all the way back there to the clear in the back before we get to the rocks. We'll see where your level is at. We're gonna have a pretty easy ride all the way down this. Then we go on a long trail going just that way on a flat, like a maintenance road, sort of like G. And then we'll get to where we run out of trail and we have to go on the blacktop back road for a ways. Then we'll jump off and get back onto a trail again. So you've gone through the technical part of the course to this point.
It definitely was technical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit. Watch out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's bushes.
Yeah. Once you know the course, I've been on it twice now, down and back. So I got a feel for the corners and how I've got to get a rhythm and really pitch my bike so I don't get up too high on the corners. I'm staying down inside where I belong. That just takes a couple rides.
You know, at first I was definitely like, oh shit, downshift. But just now I was feeling a little bit more comfortable with it. Oh, slow down.
Uh-huh.
But kept on, like right there where you stopped, where we went through the snow right now.
Uh-huh.
I went to go and shit fucking stones.
I don't know if that's elevation related or what, but that'll cause us to run really rich and can cause the engine to burble a lot. You can hear it in mine because it lugs and burbles a lot. Huh? I see it full now. Lean back to get it totally centered. I can just see the bubble at the top. You got more than half full. Mm-hmm. Should have seen this one kid I had to sweep for. He blew his clutch out. So he was having to throw it into, or he broke his clutch, probably the cable. So he was having to just sit there and start it every time he stalled it, like trying to go through some rocks or a tight turn. He's like picking himself and the bike up, and I come around the corner and okay, I'll hold the bike, you get it started. He finds neutral, and then he's like, and then he jams it into first. But it was in deep sand, so it didn't matter. It's gonna be dust, except for that mud spot we went through up there. There's a spring right there, and that you saw the water trickling down when we entered the area. Yep. You notice how we're up there where we first entered, that mud up on the hill. Right after we leave the trucks, we come around that big, long, sweeping area, and we come across that little bit of grass, and there's mud right there.
I got mud all over the bike.
Uh-huh. That's a spring right there. You just rode through a spring.
I almost did a jump too.
Yeah, there's a couple bumps that'll get you here. Some air out here. Still got a blinking light on my camera?
Yes.
Got the GPS running. It's tracking us.
There, I was like, damn, I hope he didn't take that turn to the left. If so, I got no way of getting home now.
Yeah. It's warm today, dude. We had to have sweatshirts up here when I last rode, and the snow patch was 3 times longer. That's why I said 50 feet. And,
Shit was just right there.
yeah.
I enjoyed riding over a little bit of snow today.
Yeah. We had 2 guys that were timid of that. They were fearing that they were going to fall on the ice. I was like, it's slippery, yeah, but it's not a big deal. Just coast across it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, and that was sweatshirt weather. We got down here, and sometimes when I was really accelerating, I was cold. And then we got way back in there on the way up to Red Rock, and here was more snow and ice all the way up into the mountain. Dude, we were crossing, and I was coming through soft snow, stuff you could have made snowballs with. And I'm just like, ah! You know, just throwing snow, a geyser snow around. It's funny. I loved it. Probably all just soft dirt up there now. Alright. We got to go on this for quite a ways down. If you want to get started, I'll catch up to you. Huh? Probably elevation. Hang on a second. I'll see where we're at as far as this thing will tell me. Let's see here. Hard for me to read this without glasses. No. That's just my compass. Where's my elevation? Tripodometer, no. Is that? Yeah. There we go. Alright, you are at 5,300 feet. That's considerably different than 2,200 like at your house. That's a huge difference on your jetting. That makes an engine run really fat with gas. It needs more air. Hence it's going to stall often. It's going to not idle very well and be purring like a kitten. You know, you'll hear it in this bike. I'm like leaving everywhere I go when I start out. Instead of ring. Well, let me give you a little hint. If there's the least amount of muck, you clean it. Mine had a few granules of sand, and I mean like maybe 30.
Well, it's not that it's dirty. It's whatever he was using, he was spraying that shit on there, so it's all sticky.
Yes. Well, it's either oily or it's dirty. Now, right now, I'm kind of hammering you like a teacher to a student. I've got a kid that's part of our race team that him and his dad won't do maintenance, and he's about to lose his sponsorship because he's blown up his engine 2 times in a year. Why? He's sucking dirt or something's going wrong, because you just don't blow up engines. Now, what is our biggest danger out in desert? No, dust. don't care about fuel. I'm worried about engine parts. That's where my head's at right now. What's the easiest way for me to keep my engine clean on the inside? Yes, sir. I own 2 of them. One is for each ride that I go on. I used to race, so I used to put a new one in every single heat. There's usually 2 heats in your day. So I would enter the start line with fresh filters no matter what. I'd show up on at the race day, I'd have a fresh one. My second heat, I would have another fresh one installed. It gives you better breathing, better running. Also, you're safe from dirt getting in your engine, which is our biggest enemy out here in the dust. Even those microparticles will pass through and eat up rings. You're right on the money. So, with that being said, I'm a huge advocate of when you go home and clean your bike, you park your bike, and probably tomorrow evening or you're somewhere during the middle of the week, you're going to clean that filter for next Saturday's ride. And you just get in that routine of, okay, when I oil my chain, I'm going to oil my filter. Or when I fill my tires, I'm going to clean my filter. Stuff like that. Now, we can't seem to convince that kid to do it. And if he loses his sponsorship, yes, you are. You value your investment. Help it along. It'll run better, too. That's the benefit. So, with that being said, I pulled the seat off this week and looked down in there, and I saw I had a few granules of sand from that race. It was raining that day, so there was no dust issues. I literally could count probably 10 to 15 granules of sand on the top of the filter. I'm not going to worry about those. The filter's still totally red with all the oil I put in it. So it isn't brown. You ought to see the 250 frame sitting there with the filter installed from my last rides. I have a destroyed piston and ring set, and those exhaust valves that I feared are destroyed. Yeah. I didn't hurt the cylinder to the point of needing to bore it, but I'm having to buy a new piston and rings. I was hoping just to have to ring it and do those valves, but it got a little more costly than that. Each valve's $62 each, and then a piston set with its rings is probably $149 to $200. Well, me too. It's sitting there dismantled and waiting. Right now I'm focusing on this. I'm going to get it to snuff, and then what I'll have is this will be complete, and then I'm going to focus on the 250, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with it after that. Am I going to ride it or am I going to sell it? I don't know. But it'll be fully functional. Right back to new again. So, I rode a guy's bike, and he was like, without even getting on mine, he's like, yeah, mine's probably more powerful than yours. And he knows I built the bike up to a 300. He was like saying, yeah, my pro circuit bike probably makes my bike more powerful than yours. And I'm just listening to him. Yeah. So I climb on his bike. He wanted me to ride his bike, so I climb on it. And I go ripping out on the lake bed, and it's like, it feels just like mine. Maybe a hair smoother, meaning a little less power. But mine had more top end. We were about the same out of the hole. But I've had some complaints and suspicions about this guy's bore job that he did on my bike in the first place, because I don't think he did it to all the degrees that it needed to be. And I've learned some lessons. Just because you bore out a bike doesn't give it more power. It made it bigger, but now, have you kept your compression? Let's say you did. Also, what he did by widening it, we have these ports going around our cylinder, and they're maybe a 1/4 inch in depth. But if I widen the cylinder, now they're 3/16 in depth. They're designed for a certain amount of airflow. with a 1/4 inch of size. You make the size smaller, they don't breathe as good. All engines are a giant vacuum pump. They're supposed to breathe. You draw the air in fast, you hit it with gasoline, explode it, and pump the air out fast without restriction. That's the whole name of the game. Don't restrict it at air filter. Don't restrict it at exhaust pipe. Let it flow as fast as it can go. It's a big air pump. So with that philosophy, car or bike, if you restrict those ports, it's going to slow it down. I think he did that to my bike. I don't think he opened up the ports proper when he expanded the cylinder size. I sent it off to a famous place in Colorado. There's about 5 places total that do big bikes.